Okay, let's get into this. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another CPtechnicraft Live from the Divergence Season 2 server. Oh, let's see. What kind of craziness do I got here? Well, don't get all mad at me for as big as this thing is, because it's only this big right now, mostly because it is kind of a work in progress. I tend to make things big and spacious like that for the purpose of it's easier for me afterwards if I got to make adjustments and things, make things work, because I'm trying to work out something new when it comes to the loader. As you can see, this ridiculous little setup over here. I'm trying to work with a couple of different methods of filling the carts here a little more efficiently as it does its back and forth routine. I've worked with a couple different options. This is just another variation that just uses a lot of supplies, and I was too lazy to build a water stream that is going to be the fuel input for all the furnaces. Pretty much at the point right now where I'm going to double check everything as I go, but I should be able to fire the system up. Got to do a couple final checks, things like that have fallen during construction. I always make sure that everything's cleared out because I've had jammed up the systems with all kinds of ridiculous things that won't smelt. And I figure, well, yeah, I don't know that I want to use scaffolding as fuel, but you know. All right, and we'll double check all of these anyways. All I got to do is connect this water stream up. No, it's not going to work, is it? I'm probably going to end up having to move that a little bit, but that's okay. I need to make myself a set of stairs. And this is the output from the furnaces coming over here and getting shot into this and put right back up into the sorting system. I've just got to build this up high enough to reach that thing and do the water streams for it. And then we are at the test it out and see what I did wrong. The ones on the bottom, if there was anything in them, it would have already come out into the water stream here, because that's just the output. And nothing should prevent them from making their journey over to here. And since there's should be no redstone directly touching any of those, there shouldn't be a problem. I say shouldn't because, you know. Thanks, Tyler. Now you know I'm going to go over there and check them out, even though I know it's probably pointless. I have to do it, and I blame you. Whoa! Almost went over the edge. Yeah, that should work. This is right there. Just so I can mark it, because I'm going to have to. I'm just going to leave this too high for now so that I can potentially get back in there if I need to. And that's it for glass. Let's see. I'm glad I made you smile. Yeah, I got impatient. I partially cleared, I guess you could say, the down or the lower area of this place. There's still another like 10 blocks that way that I still have to clear, but you know, I got impatient, kinda. All right, now I do take off that because I'm floating too much. I want to get up underneath. Oh, how convenient. Oh, those two. Because I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to put sand there. And I'm sure I'm going to have to make a couple of adjustments to those water streams at some point because of the source block issue. Do I get sand in my inventory? Yes. Which means I probably should grab some ice. And that's, I think, the issue here. I'm going to have to shift this around a little bit and probably move it to here so I can put a stopper right there, because I think when I go to make the source blocks for the soul sand bubble wall or bubble elevator, it's going to flow back at me this way and merge with the other water, and I think that's going to be the similar issue up here. Knowing that, I should probably grab some buttons or something to stop that. Wrong box. And I found, I was very fortunate. Somebody gave me some sponges. I got 8 of them that I did not have to go trudging around for. I was very thankful for that. Temporary blocking that for a second. But it's not as easy to clear that much space. I'm just going to put that ice there now because I know that's definitely going to be needed. Okay, now the question is, will I be able to reach the block height I need to reach? Because I got to break that button. Of course not. Okay. Could have just used another button there, huh? There we go. Now we'll do the kelp. Okay. That is a solid water stream now. Okay, part 1 done. Well, let's see. I still got a button. I'll just put it right there for now. Just so I can get in and out of this place. That's sand down there, I believe, already. Okay, it's going that way and that way. Yeah, that's what I was afraid it was going to do. Because I'll need one more space, but I'm going to get that wall going anyways. And then I'll move all this down here. Let me out, let me out. Now, I'll pull that one out. It's flowing the wrong direction. Brilliant. So let's see. Now, there's a lot of junk to set up on that. And we're going to break that one. Put that there for the moment. Well, that was unexpected. Okay, that's what I wanted. Movement in that direction. Wire that back up. Connect it back into the system. Okay. Over, up, over, up. Let me go close this off up here because I don't want to take any chances. All right. Now I got to put some fuel in it because the system has not gotten any fuel yet delivered. Give that a minute to settle in. Let me drop off all this stuff. With you and you and you, you. All right, looks good enough. Let's see. I think I gotta make one chest because I don't know why I did that. That was a misclick. Shovel anyone? Alright, let's go back up top. We're gonna go grab some fuel out of the other smelter and get this thing fired up. And that is the first test of connectivity. It's making sure that I, in fact, because I'm not gonna lie, when I first set those hoppers in for this, I put them in the wrong direction, so they were all feeding back towards the box that they were supposed to be getting from. So yeah, nothing went very far. It looks so happy. Alright. Do we have anything else up here? Oh my lord, yes we do. Good. That means I got a backup supply. I'll just toss that stuff in there for now, since I know it's still going. Oh yeah, it's still going. Hey. I'll show you guys that. I'm going to let more of this feed down below just because I know it's going to take a lot to fuel those furnaces and keep them going. I love this little setup here for kelp. It just takes 4 kelp. Do CPtechnicraft likes to fall. Flip that switch. When you see that, watch how fast this thing makes kelp. I love it. It's brilliant. And oh, every once in a while something like that happens. When that does, whoop, CPtechnicraft falls. Take one of those. Climb. Okay, I was gonna say, what did I just put that in my inventory? Yeah, I got a quick glimpse. I saw it happen. But it doesn't take any time, and these things just fill up. It's amazing. I love it. Alright. I'm not going to leave this running while we're testing, though, just because I don't want to listen to it. Now we'll go back downstairs. Turn this thing on so that the fuel starts to get divvied out. Alright, let's check. Okay, is that hopper back there locked for some chance? Or is it put in the wrong? It's going the right way. Oh, I see why. Aha. That torch is powering that one, which is locking that off. Okay. See, I always forget something. I'm making oopsie. We'll just go with a regular rail. Make it simple. That must be my wifey's home. Okay, now that one's flowing. Now let me double check and make sure I didn't lock any other ones up. Okay, fuel is being distributed quite nicely now that I've given it the opportunity to actually distribute. those are both powered from that end, so that shouldn't affect any of the hoppers. That one's fine 'cause it's not powered, but over there, hi baby. Okay, it's time to fire this puppy up and cross our fingers that the smelter does its job. Now, normally they would collect there, but that's where that stops. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that one was set up. Trident killer is on. Portals are flashing. The carnage has begun. All right. All right. Those gold nuggets, gold nuggets, gold nuggets, gold nuggets. I'm seeing things floating up. There they are. Now, the old system had lava that powered it. And when I initially designed this, I designed it with the idea that the lava buckets would just go into the overflow chamber. And then this wise man named Manchu decided that he would mention about kelp. And of course, in the process of that, I couldn't help myself. I had to go back to the kelp routine. And I'll be honest, when I did that, I was like, oh, well, now the only output I've got from the smelters, whoop, these nice little gold nuggets. So then they all come back up. So once this thing's going, you just got to sit up top. Now, what I have to watch out for is this guy right here. I mean, I got leeway room because that's a collection from all the times I've run it, because I've only run it a few times for a couple minutes at a time. Cat came by, we kelp is life, kelp is life. It is. That is just hilarious to watch though, now that I'm looking at it. All of this stuff converging in this one spot right here. It's just so much stuff leaving this machine. You can see the sorters at work, as by the time it gets to here, it's all that's left. Anything making it over here, nothing that shouldn't be in there. Because yes, the wandering traders, they just appear everywhere over here. We get gold bars. Just a steady tick, 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 tick. It's a beautiful thing. I went with the law of threes here with these sorters. I'm glad I did. I used to have, like in my original design, the two portals, I had one sorter for each kind, and I played forever trying to figure out, like, what was I doing wrong? Well, I realized, no, it's just the output of this machine is just overwhelming, and the single item golden swords tend to jam up hopper systems and stuff. That's why you'll notice there's a lot of chests throughout different stages. Like I left this one here simply for an overflow. If for some reason it just gets so overwhelmed with them, there's a little bit more storage room for the machine to catch up with itself. But yeah, see now it works. I'm happy, like super happy that it works. Let's go downstairs and take a peek. And it's finally gotten to the point where this last one doesn't have anything extra in it, but it is being used. These ones are probably all full, yeah. But I have not gotten to a point where 8 was not enough. We'll see. See, this was probably definitely overkill, but with adding the 2 extra portals, I was minor league afraid that the old system might not be adequate, but I think I can definitely reduce this down a little bit. That's crazy. This is the underbelly of the beast. So many little things. I just love these things. I love projects like this. It took forever. Using 8 sponges to clear out this entire area was a feat. I had to divide this thing up into like 7 by 7 segments and then put a center pillar in them. And of course that worked out, but this is the section that's left. Divide this thing in half and then bust it out. It goes pretty quick now that I've gotten like a routine. Until this project, I had never used a sponge for anything other than holding inventory space. Complicated, I don't know, that could be a relative term. It's not a whole lot of anything special. It's just a lot of pieces, parts. The most complicated part, I think, is like if you look up there where the droppers are, each one of these like 3 by 3 with the dropper in the corner of it is a little circuit, but it's an identical circuit. Each one of those over there, just down below that is another one, and then you saw the one that I took apart right there. Those are a little confusing if you don't know what you're doing, but it's easy to copy. This right here for the sorters is probably, I guess, the most complicated aspect of it. Only because if you don't get this part right, having an item that's renamed that does not I'll never put an item in my sorter that's named sorter only. So if I make that mistake, it'll break it. If I drop any, like leftover ones of those in there by chance or something like that, it would break it. Otherwise, it's not really too complicated, I don't think. I mean, I've been playing with this stuff for a couple of years, so maybe what I think is complicated is different than someone else. But I don't think so. I think the most complicating part of this one was actually building it, because there's so much size and distance and height involved in, because we know CPtechnicraft likes to fall. There was a lot of fell from height deaths. Yeah, now did you catch that? I went from 20 experience, I walked up to this platform, and now I'm at 47. It wouldn't work quite like this. I mean, from here up, all of this basically from the platform I'm standing on upwards would work. The most complicated aspect of this, I guess, is this trident killer, but literally what you see is what you get here. Observer, regular block. These are just regular pistons. And then, of course, the hoppers inside there. Yeah, you face the observers in the same spot on all 4 sides, facing the same direction. Put your rails or whatever you're going to use. I just use the rails because they're pretty when they light up. As the indicators right there. and then a switch to turn it on and off. They've really done a good job. Oh, that one fell too far out of the range. It won't get sucked in by the hoppers. But yeah, the problem is like, as you see, let's go back over here. This is a good indicator. Yeah, this was actually less than a full stack. It was like 10 or 12 or less when I turned the farm on. This was one solid stack over here, and maybe a couple of lingering, but I think I took it down to just one stack. And so, but that alone, like the gold bars coming out of the system, is not a problem to deal with. The real problem, because these guys can be shrunk down real easy and taking no space at all, is this aspect: rotten flesh. Right now, I don't have any way of doing anything with that personally. I know a Manchu up there, he's got at least one cleric that I saw. Maybe he's got more. So I can take those up there and spend some of them. At my other gold farm, what I did is I had an item sorter building. If you've seen the CPtechnicraft server, a big building with a bunch of item sorters in it. And I also had, I think, like 10 or 12 clerics in that room. And I had a setup where I could just throw a shulker box down underneath it. It would fill the shulker box, pick it up, and take it anywhere I needed to go. I haven't gotten to that point now. But I think I'm going to set a railway over to my place over there, and I'm going to make the cleric room. And it's going to be connected to that, just for the purpose of dealing with all of this rotten flesh without having to go into crazy storage routines yet. Short term, because we all know that I'll do something crazy to deal with a lot of the stuff that happens here, because it's just how I roll. Hey, I'm all for it. I will make a direct rail line underneath everything directly to that place, just for the transportation. In essence, I guess that's kind of what I did, Tyler. I did it by rail. I had a rail set up on my platform. So basically, where I was standing to collect the XP from this machine, you could stand there if you wanted to, or there was a rail like right here. And I had it set up. We're going to turn this off for a minute, since we'll do a reevaluation. I want to make sure that. Yeah, that's something I haven't figured out. It was with the output of this machine, it tends to knock things out here a little bit. But if you're actually just standing right here, you're pretty good. You'll pick up all that miscellaneous stuff along the way. So look at that. Just that few minutes, we went from 20 experience roughly all the way up to 60. But so yeah, that's what I did. Is once it got through the sorters, I actually have each one of these three right here has a rail loader connected to the bottom of it. And I had a system where when the rail cart got full, the minecart got full, it would leave. It would trigger the minecart you're sitting at up in here to go AFK at. And the two of you would make the travel together, basically, all the way over to my tower where the sorting and storage was. And it would time you and kind of hold you there in a timing pattern for like a minute, minute and a half, something like that, while this sorter kind of got going and established, and then it sends you on its way. I mean, you could. The only issue I ran into with that, and that's how it kind of it evolved over time. And I think I have videos. I'll have to go back because I might just do that, a big compilation. The gold farm evolves over time. What I found is because there's different items, that if you don't separate them, what ends up happening is it starts to jam up the system. And you have to find a way to get the rail carts to depart when each block, say in the cart, is full or has something in it rather than is full, because what'll happen is like you'll start to fill up with rotten flesh, and then the hoppers will just decide to change, and then it'll be, you'll get a couple golden swords and then a gold bar, and then it'll try to go to nuggets, and then eventually what ends up happening is the hoppers start getting funky and your cart gets jammed up. It's trying to put rotten flesh into that cart to fill it so that it triggers the time to go system, and it can't get anything else into that, and it never quite reaches that full mark. If you're going to do everything manually, you're going to be very busy, but it would work. It all depends on what you want to do. Maybe I'll do some simpler tutorials on just like my loader and unloaders, because I don't think I've done a tutorial on those yet. They're real simple for the most part, not a lot of redstone components. They're kind of compact, and they're programmable, I guess you could say, settable. So I set mine to go when it gets to the point where, like you see, I'm on not the last block, but like right here. I set them so that the rail cart will leave the station on its own when it gets this full. And that's why I chose to divide it between the different items, was so that there was never any kind of a jamming. When a rail cart left, it was either full of nuggets or full of, rotten flesh or whatever. And that ended up being the most optimal way, but I'm not gonna lie, I spent a long time messing with that. Like I'd go sometimes a week, and it's all I did was mess with the rail system to try and find something new or figure something out. And I went through one nightmare after another until I came up with the system that it currently is in that building. I wouldn't say they're necessarily mandatory, but I would say that they tremendously relieve relieve a lot of manual pressure on you, because like I said, in that time that we've been watching that's the output. And I'd say probably this whole bottom row or so is all from the smelters down below coming back up. So those would all be, figure, individual swords that you would have to deal with. That's In that run, you'll end up with well over 1,000 some items in that amount of time, and that can be really difficult to manually try to deal with. Um, Again, like the sorters, it's I could walk you through it, and probably wouldn't be that difficult. But basically, you can see the water stream goes over the sorter. This hopper right here is set with 5 items that are stackable to 64. That I changed the name on, only one of them, to block those places off. And this 41 is a result effect. By that I mean, basically what happens, this torch powers this block, which locks this hopper. It stays like that until that torch turns off. Now, the reason that the torch is on is because their mechanism to turn it off is not active yet. It's one item away. So 42 being in here will unlock that hopper and let it drop in, and then it'll lock again. What happens is that when it hits 42, the signal coming out of this comparator gets 1 signal strength higher. Right now it's at 2, this one and that one. 1 signal strength higher, it'll light that one down there, which will turn off the torch on the other side of that target block, which unlocks that hopper, which allows an item to drop. If there's no more items trying to get in, then it will just lock that right back up as soon as that one item drops. And that's all there is to it. So basically, it's just staying one singular item away from triggering that redstone right at the crosshairs there, and that's all it is. And it's amazing. I use the target blocks because they're very quick to react. They don't have any like pause or what have you to them. And that's it. And then having at least 41 of the item that you want to sort, that helps. But yeah, I've been, like I said, I've been working for so long. I probably just take for granted that I know how to build them and what they do because I've just been doing it like it was my life depended on it or something. Look at you going through baby clothes. And that's a good sign. This box in my original design was a nightmare. Before I had like, an elaborate sorting system like this, I had a sorting system, but like I said initially, it was one of each of these. This is the only sorter that is different than those right there. This one will only allow an item that is a single non-stackable item to flow into it. It will allow any non-stackable item into it. So if somebody were to throw a bow or something like that in there, it would actually go into here. I'm not overly concerned about that. So far, I would say in, I don't know, 2 or 3 years that I've been running similar designs, I have never had an instance of something that didn't get generated by the gold farm for the most part, or was a stackable item. Um, like these are all stackables, and since they won't fit into any of these sorters, it just pitches them over to the end. But yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah, I may have to get off my bum and actually make a tutorial on some of this stuff. I mean, there are tutorials on these, like this very design here out there. Not by me, probably by either Silent Whisper or Prowl or a couple other people. I'm sure have got designs, but what the heck? I can always throw another one out there, add to the mix, show them and their purposes. Because most every video you see, they make these simply for the purpose of just doing item storage and sorting it for storage purposes. Whereas I use it as a function of the machine. And I am oh so waiting for the auto crafters to come out, because the auto crafter will take the output of this, combine it with the output of this, which is already combined with that, and turn them into gold blocks, which will take a lot of space off my hand. He really does. Yeah, I agree. Um, I like the way that he does his tutorials. That's why I haven't done too many tutorials on, like smaller things like that, specific items, because most of them at some point, I could never necessarily tell you for sure who I got them from because so many people do it. But it's it's like the whole project as a whole now. All of these miniature pieces, elements from different people, but they're all combined with a little bit of my own what the heckage, and end result is usually something that is ridiculously oversized for no reason, because you'll see it will not take very long at all for people to realize how fast this thing generates gold, that it will become less of a gold machine and more of an experience machine, where people will come by and make gold, but not because they want the gold, but because they want that zip of experience real fast. Because this one definitely does a pretty, oh, I left it, yeah. That's the other thing I gotta watch. Is it if, nope, if you don't trigger it just right, it'll leave the portals on, and then these guys come in here. And they will actually, just from the natural state of those portals being active, they'll flood this thing out and actually lag you down. So that's kind of funny. I keep forgetting about that. I'll figure out some way of, whoop, CPtechnicraft likes to fall. of being able to tell if those portals are on or off. Like I'll have to check the state of that block or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But a way of actually making sure that when I turn this off, they actually push out the powdered snow up there and keep the portals from staying active, because they will, like you see, they will generate. And if I'm messing around down here and I'm not paying attention and those portals are open, I can end up with 200 piglins in there. And I'll wonder, why is my game glitching and lagging real bad? That would be why. And let's see. Oh, I'm just excited that that worked so well the first try. See, with this, I was worried if I had any issue with these backing up, which they didn't. So I'll probably work on reducing it down in size now, because I just made it really big for the purpose of, well, it should handle things. I was actually working on a setup to block off the rail cart for a period of time, so that it could just run back and forth across these. But I don't think that's gonna be necessary. I think with this setup, if I just left it alone, I think it would be perfectly okay. You can hear the boys in the background yelling. Oh, boys. They're so noisy. I love it. And you never have to come down here for the most part. If you're ever in doubt, like I'm going to have that kelp farm running. And again, once the auto crafter comes out, that kelp farm, I'm going to just move it down and attach it to that hopper line going down from that chest there. Uh, and, have it auto craft them right into the blocks I need, and send it right into the system. All you're going to have to do is basically, when you flip that switch to turn the machine on up there, it's going to send that signal to the kelp farm to make some kelp, and you'll never have to do anything. As long as you turn the machine on, everything will be automatic. Yeah, I only took the elytra off that time because for some reason when I was getting off, and it was happening in the exact same spot every time. When I was over here, every time I would come up this thing and try to get over, it kept making me fly. I don't know why. That's probably why right there. Probably overeager double jumping or something. Yeah. But there it is, folks. There is the gold farm. And Cat, since I know you come here already, this makes it a lot easier, because now you can just hang out on that platform. And as long as you followed the instructions, which says turn on the trident killer first, turn that on, boom. And then collect your gold or whatever it is you want if you were after that on your way out the door. Of course. I'm afraid to put anything like that on the hot bar. I have twitchy fingers when it comes to putting stuff in like hoppers and other bad places. I have left stuff and have no idea where I left it because I accidentally misclicked. It's yeah, on CPtechnicraft's main server. I think I'm literally wearing a pair of boots with cursive binding on them because I accidentally clicked on them and put them on when I left a pair of my boots apparently in a chest somewhere. And I haven't brought myself to kill myself yet, or to unalive myself in game, in order to get those stupid things off. I know, it's just sad. I just can't do it. I spent so much time trying not to delete myself that now I have to. I just refuse. But all right, folks. Uh, I hope you had fun, and I hope you enjoyed watching me test this thing out for the first time and having the sound of gleeful joy in my voice as it all worked as planned. And until the next time, I will see you all later.